What's up, everybody? It's Jared with Capture the Magic, and in today's video, we've got a lot of information that is coming out about Halloween Horror Nights, and we're going to go through everything that we know as of right now about some of the dates, the ticket options, and some of the houses that are going to be coming to Halloween Horror Nights this year. So we're going to go all through this and give some thoughts on it here. So this is all from WDWNT. This one says, breaking tickets and tours now on sale for Halloween Horror Nights 34 at Universal Studios, Florida. So Halloween Horror Nights 34 tickets and tours are now on sale, and as well as a complete list of dates for the event that was accidentally confirmed this past month. And those dates are August 29th through the 31st, September 3rd through the 7th, 10th through the 14th, 16th, 17th, 19th through the 21st, 24th through the 28th. Then October, you have 1st through the 5th, 8th through the 12th, 15th through the 19th, 22nd through the 26th, 29th through the 31st, and November 1st and 2nd. So generally speaking, from August 29th to November 2nd are the dates for Halloween Horror Nights. And then, of course, there are tickets on sale. Single night tickets are priced depending on the date, and they start at $82.99, which is the same as last year's starting price. So that the low end of those has not gone up. You can see here it's $103 on the 29th, and then it has varying dates, very similar to, if you look at Epic Universe tickets, they have different dates and stuff there. So obviously the weekends are more expensive. The earlier in the year, it is cheaper. Then as you get closer to Halloween, price is going to go up, especially on the weekends there. And then November, surprisingly though, November is still in the $100 range, at least the first Saturday afterwards, but that is the pricing you can find there. Now, something to note this year that is important that they bring up is this is the first year that annual pass holders who are premier pass holders, which I am one of those, you get a complimentary Halloween Horror Nights ticket, but this year you are going to have to make a reservation on when you want to use that. And I know a lot of people kind of made a little bit of fuss about that, but honestly speaking, I remember the first time I went to Halloween Horror Nights, which was 3 years ago, I was surprised that I didn't need to say like which date I was coming to, because my wife had been before, and I was going with some friends, and I was like, okay, well, what do I do? And she's like, you just go in, just like going to a normal theme park. And I really figured, given the amount of annual pass holders out there that could come on any night of Halloween Horror Nights, that you'd have to say, hey, I'm gonna redeem my ticket for this date or that date or whatever. So to me, this isn't a huge deal. I think it makes sense, and potentially it could help with the crowds that we've seen at Halloween Horror Nights, because obviously it has gotten very popular. And many times, if you don't have Express Pass, which we haven't the last few years, I think we're going to use it this year, you're not going to get all those houses done just to do the crowds that are there. So that is one thing about this year to note if you're a premier annual pass holder. And they said multi-night tickets at this time, multi-night tickets are not available. Last year, these tickets were released in July. Though nothing has been confirmed, this year's offerings are likely to be similar to 2024. Express passes allow Halloween Horror Night attendees to utilize a dedicated line and avoid the standby queue. These are available starting at $139.99 per person and are priced by date. This year's pricing is up $10 over last year, which started at $129.99 per person. Then they have RIP tours, which is their version of VIP tours. RIP tours are a way to gain direct access to all haunted houses and shows led by a tour guide. And these tours include VIP entry to haunted houses and participating park attractions once per hour based on itinerary. Commemorative RIP tour credential, lanyard, and pin. Complimentary valet parking, pre-tour reception in Cafe La Bamba, access to exclusive cash bar locations. You must be 21 and up to do this. And Universal Express unlimited ride access at all participating rides and attractions for the date of their tour. And then reserved seating at select event shows during the tour. Standard RIP tours combine your party with other guests and start at $369.99 per person. This was $359 last year, so that has gone up a little bit as well. And for those that want to experience it with just their party, a private RIP tour offers up to 10 people the chance to choose their itinerary and get unlimited access to the haunted houses. They also have the Unmasking the Horror Behind the Screams tour, which we did last year. It's a very cool tour. If you're into Halloween Horror Nights, you will see a lot of the backstage things. They'll show you a lot of the work that goes into this, and it is pretty impressive, the amount of work, and almost like a movie set that goes into these things. You kind of see, not every house. I think when we did the one last year where it was before Halloween Horror Nights actually started, which I would say I would rather do the houses and then see the behind the scenes. I think, but we did do it last year. It was a little bit cheaper to do it that way. And it was a cool experience, but then going into the houses afterwards, you kind of know exactly what to expect. So it kind of depends on what you want to do there, but it is cool getting behind the scenes of really how these houses are designed, put together, all the work behind them, all the work that goes into everything for, they're working on these houses like for next year. They're probably already working on those houses now. So there's a lot of work that goes into each of these houses. Unmasking the Tour is a daytime tour of selection of houses and does not include admission to Halloween Horror Nights. A 3-house tour and a 6-house tour are available. Pricing starts at $84.99 for the 3-house tour and $169.99 for the 6-house tour. And this one says $99.99 and $179.99 in 2024 respectively. So it looks like those have actually come down in price a little bit. Looks that way at least. Photos are allowed only in select areas inside the houses, but video recording is not allowed. And they also have the Halloween Horror Nights Scream Early ticket. So entry into Universal Studios as early as 3 p.m. on the day of your Halloween Horror Nights ticket. Separate event admission is required, and the Scream ticket starts at $55. And then we also found out as well, Premium Scream Night is returning for Halloween Horror Nights this year as well. And Premium Scream is a one-night only limited capacity event held ahead of the start of Halloween Horror Nights. This event offers all the standard Halloween Horror Nights amenities with some additional perks. Last year, the event ran from 6:30 p.m. till 2 a.m., which were the regular operating hours for Halloween Horror Nights 33. This year, the event will take place on Thursday, August 28th. Tickets are priced at $375 and include shorter wait times with staggered entry. All you care to enjoy select food and non-alcoholic beverages and complimentary self-parking. New for this year, Premium Scream Night guests may wear costumes subject to Universal Orlando costume policy, but no masks are allowed. Universal previously updated their mobile website with copy hinting at the return of this separately ticketed event, referencing Premium Scream Night in a blurb about resort hotel guests getting their own private entry. If you look at the pricing of it, I mean, it's if you were to get a single day ticket and then also the express pass, I mean, it would be, obviously you're paying more for this, but it's something you can do to kind of have a almost like a VIP, like an after hours type thing where it's much less people. You're not going to be as crowded as a typical Halloween Horror Nights night typically is. So that's the information we have on the tickets, the dates, everything like that. We also have information about some of the houses that have been announced. And I have to say, we have 2 here, and I'm excited for both of these. So the first one is that Five Nights at Freddy's is coming to Halloween Horror Nights, and also not only in Florida, but also out in Universal Studios Hollywood as well. And they had a post about this on Twitter X that Five Nights at Freddy is coming in a whole new way to this year's Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights in both Hollywood and Orlando, and more details to come. So if you're not aware of what Five Nights at Freddy's is, it is a popular video game franchise. And basically, it's almost like Chuck E. Cheese, where there's animatronics in this restaurant, and they come to life at night. I've never actually played the game. I've seen people play the game. It is very, very popular. It is something like I didn't quite understand how popular it was. Obviously, there was a movie about it that did very, very well. They're going to do a sequel to that. And there were rumors last year that this would be coming to Halloween Horror Nights, but it is coming basically a year later. And it kind of fits into of these poorly, like not poorly put together, but just kind of like older animatronics. They're kind of spooky and creepy looking. I think it'll make for a very interesting haunted house if they go the haunted house route. They haven't given any actual details about what this is. They said the popular video game and movie franchise is coming in a whole new way, which may mean it's not going to be in a haunted house format. Universal said more details will be coming soon. So yeah, I mean, the assumption has been it'll be a haunted house. It could be some sort of other thing, maybe some sort of scare zone they put up there. But either way, I think this is going to be very popular, whichever way this is in the parks. Five Nights at Freddy's has been long rumored for the event due to its popularity across genres and demographics. Originally, it was included on the popular speculation maps made by Halloween Horror Nights HHN Nightmares on X as an upcoming property for a house. Previously, the franchise has appeared at Halloween Horror Nights 32 in Orlando as a photo op at City Walk. In Hollywood, the animatronics from the film were on display at the Blumhouse Behind the Screams Experience. And this is a video game that came out in 2014 and has quite a following behind it. Now, I will say there have been issues in the past, and this has been talked about. We talked about last year, and I'm going to assume probably might be an issue this year, is a lot of times the younger crowd gets a little rowdy at these events, and there's been, even issues of hitting scream actors, like being very disrespectful to team members. it's something that's typically you're not going to see it during the week, but like on the weekends, that's a lot of when the younger crowd comes in. I think that is going to be an overdrive for this because this one definitely appeals to the teenagers and younger crowd. So I do wonder if there is extra things put in place by Universal to kind of eliminate this, because I've talked to some team members that said like some of the behavior was really out of control, like actually striking team members, like just being like just overall causing problems and impeding the experience of other guests at Halloween Horror Nights. And having this property here, as cool as I think this is and will be, that is an element of this is going to bring in even more of the younger crowd. And I do want to, you've seen other theme parks implement chaperone policies. Like if you're under 18, you got to have an adult with you. Like they could do things like this because as of right now, many times you'll just have groups of teenagers running around at Halloween Horror Nights. And listen, I was a teenager. I was stupid when I was a teenager. And, you learn from your mistakes. But at the same time, I'm sure when I was that age, if I was into Halloween Horror Nights and went at that age, I probably would have been not bad. I wouldn't have struck team members, but I probably would have done some stupid things that I thought was funny that nobody else did. And I do wonder if they don't do it this year, at some point, if it gets bad enough, Universal could implement some sort of policy we have seen in other theme parks over the years. But Halloween is a kind of a little rowdy with that crowd anyways. So that is something I'm wondering if they do this year. But either way, Halloween Horror Nights having Five Nights at Freddy's, I think, is a very cool thing. I'm looking forward to that and seeing what they're going to do there. But they also announced Fallout is coming. And obviously Fallout is a very popular video game that has been a show as well. That was a very popular show. I believe it's on Amazon Prime. And they said that this will be the first ever Fallout haunted house. So they have confirmed this is going to be a haunted house. The house will be inspired by the first season of the Fallout TV show. So they did a Last of Us house a few years ago. That was based off of the video game and not the show. This one, even though it's off of a video game, looks like it's going to be based off of the show. Guests will enter Vault 33 and follow Lucy Lachlan, I think. I never watched the show, so I'm not exactly sure some of these names, as she tries to escape a bloody massacre. They will then travel outside the vault into the wasteland, dodging attacks from scavengers, raiders, and RAD roaches. They'll first visit locations like Super Duper Mart, encounter the Ghoul, and meet Maximus in his massive T-60 armor. IGN spoke to John Murdy, creative director and executive producer at Universal Studios Hollywood, and Matthew Flood, senior show director at Universal Orlando, about the new Fallout experience. And they said, as you go through these environments, we want fans to say, I recognize this, I'm in a Fallout vault. How cool is that? Said Flood. Where else are you going to get to say that you walked through a Fallout vault and then into the wasteland and saw ghouls? And you can see and understand what the world is just by what you pass, including the bodies when Lucy first exits the vault. That type of thing is really good for us in Halloween Horror Nights. And yes, it's gruesome, which is what our fans want at Halloween Horror Nights. It's also scary and provides great characters, good monsters, all the mutated creatures, and the ghouls. That's ripe for the picking when it comes to Halloween Horror Nights. Said Fallout is kind of a retro-futuristic, and a lot of the aesthetics of it are very 1950s, said Murdy. The fact that we get to deal with the aftermath of a nuclear holocaust is very exciting for us since we've never done anything like this at Halloween Horror Nights before. It's like tapping into a whole new different realm of horror. They go on to say that both versions of the house will have unique aspects. He said, we work very closely with the people who are producing Fallout, and they shared an incredible number of assets with us, said Murdy. We've done a lot of really big stuff over the years with Halloween Horror Nights, but this has got to be, I think, one of the biggest things we've ever had to do, he said, of the T-60 armor. We also thought it would be cool if each park had a lot in common, but also some differences. So far for Hollywood, the power armor is a full animatronic. We're doing it as a fully animated figure. That's pretty awesome. In Orlando, we do have kind of a final battle moment, Flood explained. I'm not going to reveal too much, but yes, T-60s will be part of that battle. We also got a chance to fit in Philly, and I think having a moment to get a real-life Fallout battle happening there is pretty cool. Each house will have its own creature takes. In Hollywood, you will be the Yogoi bear, maybe? I probably said that wrong. And like many HHN houses, they will be full of Easter eggs. So, I mean, both of those franchises coming to Halloween Horror Nights, I think is going to get a lot of attention. Fallout's interesting. So it's based off a video game. I've played a little bit of it. So if you're not aware of it, it's a world in which there's a nuclear holocaust, basically, and the aftermath of that. And that involves like being in vaults and people were hiding from this, and you deal with mutated creatures and such. So it's a very interesting world to delve into. Obviously, that's why they made a show out of it. But I think this has a lot of potential. I like the 1950s aesthetic of that game and kind of that, what that vibe is with that horror and like nuclear holocaust feel to it. So I think it's pretty unique in how they could do it. And I'm excited for it. I think that's pretty cool. Both Five Nights at Freddy's and also Fallout. I think those are pretty strong things to have right out the gate. Now, obviously, there's going to be original IP houses, as there always is the case. And along with Fallout as well, they also have Fallout merchandise that you can now get in the parks, alluding to it being at Halloween Horror Nights. And it says, alongside the announcement for the Fallout-themed house for Halloween Horror Nights, there is now merchandise in Orlando. There's a picture of the little stand they have there. So they have a T-shirt for $33. This can be found in 5 and Dime in Universal Studios Florida. They also have a tumbler for $27, which I'm not a huge fan of the tumblers like that, but they have those. They have an acrylic stand. And they have another acrylic stand here, little blood stained on there. You know, Fallout probably is going to move a pretty decent amount of merchandise. Again, the t-shirt looks kind of cool, but one thing Universal doesn't, a lot of theme parks do this, is like the kind of these rough, thick t-shirts with these like giant prints on them that just kind of get heavy and hang on you. I'm really picky when it comes to t-shirts. That's why we have a t-shirt company. So if you want some good t-shirts, ctmapparelco.com. That's where we make our own shirts and put them in house and ship them out. And I'm very picky on shirts. That's one reason why I started our own company there, because many times I just don't like those very heavy cotton prints with all this stuff on them. Especially in like the Florida heat, they just sweat a lot. But they do have Fallout gear that you can get. So one thing as well, there was some rumors out there that it might be 12 haunted houses this year, but it looks like on Universal's website that they're confirming there are 10. So they had 10 new mind-ripping haunted houses. And they list Fallout here. Are not listing Five Nights at Freddy's here, because I don't think that is probably going to be a house. But it does look like there's only going to be 10 houses this year. And I say only 10. I mean, that's what they've always done. But the rumor was to do 12 houses, and they haven't said this, but the thinking would be to keep the capacity the same, to try and have the wait times not be as high. But I do wonder if having the annual pass holders with the premier option, having to schedule the times that they go, if they're looking to maybe try and control the crowds a bit more, because we've gone the last couple of years, we've gone where you can get in early and do it, is a stay-in screen, and be able to get into the houses earlier. But you usually hit a point in the night where every house is just going to be an hour plus wait. And it is open until 2 a.m., so you can do everything there, but waiting in those lines gets very, very tiring. And if you don't have Express Pass, it's not that you can't. It depends on the night you go, but it can be kind of difficult to do all the houses there. Personally speaking, we'll probably do the Express Pass this year, given we already have the complimentary pass from the Premier Passholder option, and it's just much easier to go through the houses with the Express Pass. And, you don't have to wait in line for hours. Once you get to like 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, you look at a wait time and it's like 60 minutes. You're just like, I don't know if I can do this. And to me, waiting in line is worse than walking around sort of situation. So that is something to think about. So we'll have to wait and see how the crowds are this year, if they are able to manage them a bit more, because obviously they want people to buy Express Passes, but you don't want people who still go and don't get Express Pass to, have insane lines where they're just not having a good time. So just like a normal theme park day, you want to try and balance wait times. You still sell your Express Pass, but you also don't want the wait times to be just absolutely insane if you don't have an Express Pass and nobody has a good time. So it's always something to kind of think about there. So maybe they're trying to find a balance there by having the Premier Pass holders schedule when they're coming to try and eliminate, they may not know on any given night how many of those, annual pass holders would show up before. So if they all show up on, one night, or a bunch on one night they weren't expecting, obviously that can lead to higher wait time. So that could be something they're doing this year. But I think in the future, they'll probably move to 12 houses if I were to guess, just because I think the demand is there. And I think it gives them more opportunities to do some extra things with the houses. Now, the question would be, if they do that, do they up capacity? Hopefully they wouldn't, but that is a question that I had whenever they had first rumored that it might be 12 houses, about, what are they going to do with capacity? If they leave it the same, that could help. If they bump up that capacity, that also then you'd be in the same situation perhaps you were before. Honestly, I'm excited for Halloween Horror Nights this year. I've gotten much more into it over the years. I'm admittedly not a fan of the horror genre, which you would assume I would not like Halloween Horror Nights, but I do enjoy it. It's a very unique experience. Has its own atmosphere. Definitely some things, if you're used to going to say Disney's Not So Scary Halloween Party, it is the polar opposite of that. Lots of themed food and drink options. They've got, obviously the haunted houses. It's a unique environment, very much unique to how Universal does it, and they do it very, very well, and it's gotten just more and more popular over the years. And I do think that this is going to be the biggest one perhaps ever that they have, considering you have Epic Universe, you have a lot of people coming in, and it's just gotten more and more popular. And they've obviously had a lot of success with Halloween Horror Nights, given that they're doing a year-round experience in Vegas that's starting in August. So they're obviously looking to double down into what they do very well, which is the horror genre. But if you're looking to go Halloween Horror Nights, those are your options as of right now. There are going to be more house announcements, as normally we have more announcements at this point, but I think with Epic Universe, they delayed a lot of that coming out just to give, Epic Universe the time and the light to premiere that, open that up, and everything like that. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot of information come out the next few months about Halloween Horror Nights that's starting in August, and it'll probably be very popular this year. And when we know more information about Halloween Horror Nights, we will talk about it on here. We may even do a live stream once we have all the information about the houses and bring some people on and talk about everything there, what we're looking forward to, maybe what we're not looking forward to. And then obviously once we experience it, give a review of it. So looking forward to this year. But either way, that's going to be it though for this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel as we do lots of coverage here of Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments, what do you think about Five Nights at Freddy's and Fallout being part of Halloween Horror Nights? And until next time, we will see you in the parks.